Once I put my one-on-one supplements out to the world. I introduced the world to the one-on-one supplements. I had no choice. I started taking the one-on-one supplements and started back working out. After my workout, I'm gonna drink the best water in the world. Hands down, hot water. What's so crazy about this water right here? So different from everybody else's water. It's the best in business, but also you can write your name right here. So you don't want to get your water mixed up with somebody else's water. So hot water, order now. One-on-one supplements here. How much? I just started back working out. Watch. See me in 2 months. I'm being cooked up.
The hip-hop world is in shock, reeling from news that has sent tremors through every street and studio. Lil Baby, the chart-topping phenom, the voice of a generation, sentenced to life in prison, but the real dagger. Allegations that a close ally, the Durk, testified against him, sealing his fate, betrayal, and a life behind bars. The music stopped, but the silence was deafening. News broke, cascading like a tidal wave over the global hip-hop community. Dominique Armani Jones, the artist known to millions as Lil Baby, the undisputed titan of the charts, the voice that soundtracked countless lives, had been sentenced to life in prison, a life sentence. The words themselves felt too heavy, too final, too unthinkable for a man who just hours before was a symbol of success. A testament to rising from the streets to global superstardom. His trajectory had been meteoric, from humble beginnings.
Let me tell you something about Floyd. This is what I don't like about him either. No matter whatever we say about him, and it could be true, but he's in that gym. He's a rat. He retired, but he stayed in the gym. He can't help it. It's just he don't do drugs. That's his heroin.
His raw, authentic lyrics and undeniable flow resonated with audiences on a scale rarely seen. Albums went platinum, singles dominated, radio waves, and his face was plastered on billboards from Atlanta to London. He wasn't just a rapper. He was a cultural force, the undisputed leader of a new wave, the standard bearer for a generation of artists. He built an empire around his 4PF collective, a label, a brand, a movement that symbolized loyalty and success. But lurking beneath the glittering surface of fame and fortune was the shadow of a sprawling RICO investigation, an acronym that has become synonymous with complex, often devastating legal battles targeting organizations allegedly involved in criminal activity. The focus of the prosecution was sharp, drawing a damning line between the 4PF collective and alleged retaliatory violence. At the heart of the case lay a tragedy that haunted the proceedings. Shooting that resulted.
Every time boxing come on, you don't bring up Muhammad Ali name. You don't bring up Mike Tyson name. You always bring up Floyd Mayweather name.
Now listen, we're talking about Floyd, and listen, we all gotta believe we're the greatest of all time, right? We all gotta believe that, but we all know Muhammad Ali is the greatest of all time.
If you could have fought any fighter in your life, any weight, any era, who would you have picked that you would have liked to fight the most?
Floyd Mayweather.
In the deaths of two innocent 13-year-olds. Prosecutors worked tirelessly to paint a picture of a hip-hop empire intertwined with street criminality, alleging that the collective's activities weren't just about music and business, but about enforcing territory and responding to perceived slights with violence. The deaths of those two young lives became the emotional cornerstone of the prosecution's argument, emphasizing the devastating human cost tied to the alleged actions of the collective. It transformed the case from a dry legal proceeding into a heart-wrenching narrative of loss and consequence, a narrative that would ultimately prove devastating. For the man at the top, early whispers and rumors about federal interest in the 4PF collective had circulated for months, dismissed by some as typical rap drama or law enforcement overreach. But those whispers gradually solidified, hardening into formal indictments that sent shockwaves through the industry. The transition from speculation.
What do you think about Floyd talking about greater than Ali?
He's very delusional. He can't listen. If he was anywhere near that that realm of greater than Ali, he'd be able to take his kids to school by himself.
There we go.
Okay, he can't take his kid to school by himself, and he talking about he's great. Greatness is not guarding yourself from the people. Greatness is being accepted by the people. He can't take his kids alone to school by himself. He's a little scared man. He's a very small, scared man.
Into concrete charges was the result of intense, prolonged surveillance. Months turned into years of watching, listening, and collecting evidence. Wiretaps reportedly captured countless conversations, allegedly revealing the inner workings of the collective's activities. Jittle, evidence culled from phones, social media, and other online platforms reportedly provided further pieces of the puzzle, painting a detailed picture of alleged coordination and command structures. Allegations emerged that Lil Baby himself, the chart topper, was not merely a figurehead, but a key player in directing activities, allegedly orchestrating retaliatory actions using coded language, the very slang that permeated his music and the streets he came from. This elevated the seriousness of his case dramatically, transforming him from a potential associate into an alleged central figure responsible for directing violence. The indictment wasn't just targeting the collective, it was targeting its...
If you could have fought any fighter in your life, any weight, any era, who would you have picked that you would have liked to fight the most?
Floyd Mayweather.
I love it. Why?
Huh?
You want to knock him out?
Well, I would have loved him before, and I wish he was my
leader, aiming to hold him personally accountable for the most heinous alleged acts linked to the group. And then came the moment that shattered the narrative, a twist so stunning, so devastating that it arguably sealed Lil Baby's fate and sent a fissure through the very concept of loyalty in hip-hop. The courtroom doors opened for an unexpected witness, a figure instantly recognizable, a friend, an occasional collaborator, another titan of the rap world, Lil Durk, who himself had been facing his own recent legal challenges, reportedly tied to a separate indictment, stepped forward. The air in the courtroom grew thick with disbelief. Why was Durk here? What could he possibly say? The whispers turned into stunned silence as, according to reports from the proceedings, Lil Durk began to testify. The motive, though not explicitly stated in the courtroom, was widely speculated to be tied to his own legal jeopardy, facing his own serious charges, the pressure to cooperate with prosecutors for potential leniency must have been immense. It was a Sophie's choice played out on the world stage. A friend allegedly sacrificing an ally to save himself from a similar fate. And what Durk allegedly testified to sent a cold shock through everyone present. He didn't just offer corroboration on minor points. He reportedly delivered testimony that directly implicated Lil Baby in the most serious allegations. Sources close to the case suggested that Durk's testimony zeroed in on the tragic heart of the prosecution's argument, the deaths of the two 13-year-olds. He allegedly testified that Lil Baby was aware of or even ordered the actions that led to that horrific outcome. This wasn't just general testimony about collective activity. This was an alleged direct accusation linking the artist to the central murders that fueled the RICO case. The man known for his authenticity, his connection to the streets, was now allegedly being pointed at by someone who walked those same streets.
To pay homage to Mayweather, the fighter. It's the businessman in Mayweather they actually love even more.
With him by a peer who understood the language and the lifestyle. Durk's reported testimony wasn't just evidence. It was a betrayal of trust, a violation of the unwritten code of loyalty that runs deep in the culture they both represented. It was a devastating blow, not just to the defense's strategy, but to the entire public perception of the case and the relationships. Within the hip-hop world, the courtroom tensions, already high, given the gravity of the charges and the emotional weight of the victims' testimonies, exploded after Durk's alleged appearance. The atmosphere became palpably charged. Emotional testimonies continued, painting vivid pictures of the impact of the violence on families and communities. Wiretapped calls, previously presented as damning but potentially ambiguous, now reportedly took on chilling clarity when viewed through the lens of Durk's alleged corroboration. Prosecutors meticulously presented evidence linking specific rap lyrics and social media posts.
He helped you come into the game. He gave you the spotlight. Like, why would he try to diminish your career?
Because at that time, I don't want to go too deep into it because I don't want to bring up but it was somehow that they were saying that I was messing with his daughter off of the fact that she kept Snapchatting me.
Okay.
Cap hit me on the snap.
Previously dismissed by the defense as artistic expression or street posturing to real-life events, arguing they were not just words, but blueprints or acknowledgments of criminal activity, with Durk's testimony allegedly providing a framework or confirmation. This evidence became even more potent, weaving a tight net around the defendant. Lil Baby himself, throughout the grueling trial, reportedly maintained a demeanor that shifted between defiant and somber as the verdict was read and the life sentence pronounced. Sources inside the courtroom described a moment of profound stillness before the raw emotion surfaced. He reportedly expressed deep regret, his voice thick with heartbreak, not just for his situation, but for everyone affected by the violence. His final public words in the courtroom were reportedly an emotional farewell to his family, his fans, and the life he knew, a poignant, heartbreaking moment that underscored the absolute finality of the sentence. They took my...
Sometimes, hey, when people it ain't about me training or anything like that. People get money, man. Things change.
Freedom, yeah. A fictionalized but emotionally resonant quote from Baby might capture his feelings, reflecting on the outcome and the alleged betrayal. But they can't take the music from my soul. They can't take the love from the people who stayed down. This ain't how I saw things ending. Not like this. Not with everything that happened, but I gotta own my part, and I gotta find peace where I am. Gotta figure out how we got here. This hypothetical quote blends a touch of defiance, an acknowledgement of enduring support, the pain of the unexpected turn, and a hint of wrestling with the complex circumstances, including the alleged actions of others involved in his fate. As news of the life sentence and the alleged betrayal spread, the hip-hop world and his massive fan base were plunged into a state of mourning and disbelief. Social media exploded with grief, anger, and confusion. How could this happen to a star of his magnitude?
I was at 90.
Yeah.
How could someone so close allegedly turn witness against him? Fans grappled with the harsh reality of the American justice system, particularly its use of RICO statutes against figures in the hip-hop community, and questioned the fairness of a sentence that felt disproportionate to the man they knew through his music. The concept of loyalty, a cornerstone of hip-hop culture, was thrown into sharp, painful relief by the reports of Durk's testimony. Memes circulated, some expressing sorrow, others outrage, some darkly humorous coping mechanisms. Murals honoring Lil Baby's impact appeared. In cities, hashtags trended globally, and tribute tracks from fellow artists and fans surged across streaming platforms. A digital wake for an artist taken too soon from the public eye. Yet the relentless pace of the music industry meant that even as fans grieved, new voices were already emerging, vying to fill the void left by his sudden, dramatic fall. His case sparked a wider...
Floyd's a great fighter, don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
He had 50 fights, and he said, listen, Sugar Ray Robinson had 47 fights. He lost one, then he had 78 fight. Then he had a 78-fight winning streak.
Yeah, but you even
He had 47, lost one, then 78 winning streak.
But even more modern than that.
Knockout.
Look at Julio Cesar Chavez.
Woo!
He was 84-0, right?
89, 90 and 0 before he lost.
89-0. Wow. So
don't tell me about you the greatest fighter with 50-0, nigga. You're great, no doubt about it, nigga. 50-0.
Often heated debate about the systemic issues within the American justice system, the complex relationship between street culture and artistic expression, the true meaning of loyalty in the face of overwhelming pressure, and the precarious tightrope walk between fame and the shadows of a past life. But the story, it seems, did not end at the courthouse doors. Reports from inside the prison walls filtered through lawyers, family, and fellow inmates began to paint a picture of a different kind of transformation, stripped of the trappings of wealth and fame, facing the stark reality of a life sentence. Lil Baby reportedly turned inward. He reportedly embraced literature and philosophy, seeking understanding and perspective in the written word. Reflection became a constant companion, a way to process the events that led him there, the choices made, and the devastating consequences, including the alleged betrayal. Crucially, he reportedly remained creatively active. Rumors of a post-conviction album, perhaps
compete with that. So he's pretty big on those scales as far as on the celebrity scale. So he's gonna realize what life is all about and what friends are all about, and realize that we only have a few of them, and sometimes they're the only ones we got. They may not.
Perhaps comprised of verses and ideas conceived before or during his trial, or lyrics and messages painstakingly written from his cell began to circulate. fueling hope among fans that his voice would not be silenced entirely. Heartfelt messages reportedly sent from prison hinted at a profound personal transformation, a man confronting his past and seeking a path towards redemption, or at least inner peace in the face of an irreversible sentence. In Here, a message purportedly from Baby could read, offering a glimpse into his new reality. You strip away everything. The cars, the jewelry, the noise. You had time to read things I never would have touched. Think about things I ran from. It's heavy, real heavy, but I'm finding something in the quiet, trying to make sense of it all. Still writing down these thoughts. They gotta come out somehow. For the ones who stuck by me, they gotta know my mind's still here. My heart's still with them. This fictional.
What lessons do you think Pacquiao and Mayweather could learn from you in terms of life away from the ring?
Well, Floyd seems to be going through some stuff like me right now, you know, like realizing no one's his friend and everybody's probably, even though I even hate to say it, because maybe everybody's kind of a little jealous of him, you know, because he is Floyd Mayweather. I know these other guys got their money, but this guy is the champ of the world. You know, it's hard to.
Message suggests a man stripped bare, finding solace and continued purpose in creative expression and connection with his loyal fan base, acknowledging the weight of his situation without dwelling on specific grievances like the alleged betrayal, in keeping with a focus on his internal state and external circumstances. For fans and fellow inmates, his story, even in tragedy, became a source of inspiration, a testament to resilience, a cautionary tale, and the enduring power of a voice that captured the struggles and aspirations of millions. The cultural ripple effects of Lil Baby's sentencing and the alleged betrayal extended far beyond the confines of the courtroom and the borders of the United States. From the bustling streets of Paris to the vibrant townships of Johannesburg, the global hip-hop community reacted with a mixture of sadness, anger, and solidarity. His music had transcended geographical boundaries, his story of triumph over adversity resonating with listeners.
He likes glam. He's very glamorous. And this is what he liked, and I was very savage. I wasn't that savage, dark, malevolent aura. You know, I was just never the fly, slick, black fighter.
Worldwide, graffiti art depicting his likeness appeared in cities across continents, a visual tribute to his impact. His influence on fashion and slang remained palpable. Leaks of powerful, previously unheard verses or snippets of new material allegedly written from prison further underscored his undiminished cultural footprint, proving that while his physical presence may be confined, his voice, his message, and his artistic energy remained potent and widely resonant, a ghost in the machine of global hip-hop, forever linked to the streets he represented and the legal system that confined him, with the added layer of complexity brought by the alleged actions of a close friend. The numbers involved in this tragic saga tell a story of their own, echoing the human cost and the procedural buildup that led to this stunning conclusion. Two innocent 13-year-olds, their lives tragically cut short, became the heartbreaking heart of the RICO case, their deaths emphasizing the devastating stakes of
We're different people. I like, what are you talking about? Why did you got to get involved? He can say it. Why are you involved? All right, listen, as I'm saying, we're different people, so Floyd
gang rivalries, and the violence prosecutors alleged was linked to the 4PF collective. Their memory served as a stark, constant reminder in the courtroom of the real-world consequences tied to the abstract legal arguments. The 90-day indictment warning that reportedly preceded the formal charges hinted at the deliberate legal buildup, a period where pressure likely mounted on all involved, potentially including the pressure on Lil Durk stemming from his own concurrent legal troubles, ultimately leading to the shock of the sentencing. And then there are the thousands of fan letters reportedly sent to Lil Baby in prison, alongside mentions by those who have heard his post-incarceration thoughts of deepest bars ever. These numbers reflect the enduring public engagement, the profound emotional resonance of his music and his story, and the potential for artistic growth and reflection that can sometimes emerge even from the darkest of circumstances, perhaps amplified by the gravity of a life sentence and the weight.
The next year, and the next year, and the next thing you know, the bill is so big, you either have to sell everything to make good, or they come and get everything. Now, you remember when Red Fox, he told a story that he was in trouble with the IRS. They took everything, even the Mickey Mouse watch on his wrist. That's how they do you, Skip. Skip, I had to pay a debt, Skip. It cost them more to send me the postage in the return letter that I was going to put that 37 cent and that $2 check in, but they wanted their paper. You know, Leona Hemsley, the great heiress and real estate lady, she said only poor people pay taxes. They said, bull jive, we finna take your rich ass to jail. And she had to go to jail for some time. Skip, these people don't play.
They do not.
They won't. I don't care if it's 37 cents, I had to pay one of those. If it's $2, I had to pay one of those. Skip, I'm sending them their money. And you know what? When all else, I'm going to err on the side of overpaying them.
Of processing an alleged betrayal by someone close. In the end, the story of Lil Baby's fall, culminating in a life sentence allegedly propelled by the testimony of a fellow artist and friend, reportedly. Facing his own legal battles is more than just a legal outcome. It's a modern tragedy played out on a global stage. It's a story of ambition, success, loyalty, betrayal, and the harsh realities of a justice system grappling with complex issues. It leaves behind a void in music, a grieving fan base, and profound questions. About the price of fame and the bonds of friendship in a world where the stakes are life and death, freedom and confinement. To make sure you don't miss any updates on this unprecedented story, any potential appeals, rumors of nuke, music, or deeper dives into the cultural impact, make sure you subscribe to this YouTube channel right now and turn on notifications. Stay informed on the saga that has rocked the foundations of hip-hop.
You are. The fuck you mean I want to be like you? How I want to be like you? Come on, man. I'm the face of boxing. Man, you know how these bitches is in the sport. Total disrespect. Kid has no class, no style at all. Manny Pacquiao, you're not on my level. Manny Pacquiao, you will never be on my level. Period. Simple and plain. Accept the loss and say, you know what, Mayweather, you know what? You was the better fighter. It's okay to be number 2. It's okay to be right behind me. It's okay. He think about hitting me with his power, his hard power, but we already know his ass already hit the deck. Vernon Forrest fucked you up. Winky Wright fucked you up. Miguel Cotto fucked you up. Money Mayweather, I'm a
best boxer in the world.
Brilliant, clean, hard shots for Pretty Boy Floyd.
They can't stop me. These fighters can't fuck with me, man. They can't fuck with me. I'm the best. Ricky Hatton should just be appreciative that I'm giving him an opportunity.